Hello and welcome back to the final module in this course about institutional-only accreditation standards. This module will cover Standard 15, which is Title IV compliance, and Title IV is federal financial aid. Now those of you who are not participating in federal financial aid may be tempted to skip this module, but we would encourage you to please pay attention. It's not very long, and you may get some information if you want to participate sometime in the future. Now the purpose of Standard 15 is that the contents of this standard are actually required by any accrediting agency recognized as a gatekeeper by the U.S. Department of Education. But it's important to note that participating in Title IV is actually beyond the scope of accreditation. COMTA is recognized as a gatekeeper, so the standard is intended to help schools be eligible, but the school must be responsible for staying current and compliant with all USDE policies. These are not COMTA's policies, these are the Title IV policies, and we just do a general check on them. In case you're not clear, it is important to note that COMTA is not part of the Department of Education. It is a separate entity. It is a separate process if you do want to go ahead with Title IV application, but accreditation, as you may already know, is a prerequisite or a requirement, but it is separate. A couple other disclaimers that Title IV regulations are very complex and can apply to schools in varying ways. So the school is responsible for understanding how to stay in compliance for its specific circumstances. The Commission is obligated to check that certain aspects of Title IV administration are in compliance and to inform the Department of Education if there is any concern of Title IV non-compliance, but it is ultimately the school's responsibility to maintain compliance with all department regulations. There are 5 general elements to this standard. The first is administration of the federal financial aid monies, loan repayment, required disclosures, clock hour to credit, and SAP policies. We're going to look at the first 3 right now: administration, loan repayment, and required disclosures. For administration, Standard 15A, the standard states that institutions demonstrate the administrative capability to participate in these federal aid programs through satisfactory results of financial or compliance audits, program reviews, and other information provided to the Commission. Loan repayment states that institutions participating in federal loan programs have in place appropriate measures designed to encourage students to repay their loans, and the institutions maintain an official student loan default rate that is below the federal threshold. Required disclosures. The Department of Education does require certain disclosures are published, and these are per federal regulation, and you will get these, as well as the catalog contains the required policies, what those policies should be, and describes the financial aid programs that you participate in and how students can maintain eligibility. Now, all of this information is given to you by the Department of Education, by the Title IV representatives when you participate and when you receive your program participation agreement. It is just up to the Commission and the reviewers to double check these when we do a review. Clock hour to credit conversion. The standard states that institutions participating in Title IV must comply with Title IV regulations regarding the calculation of aid. Institutions may use the COMTA clock hour to credit conversion for academic purposes, but please make sure that you're paying attention to any changing regulations on whether aid is calculated in clock hours or via credits. You can contact your Title IV regional office for the latest on this. And finally, as noted in the previous module, the Satisfactory Academic Progress, or SAP policy, is more specific for those institutions and specifically students who are participating in Title IV, because if the Title IV students are not meeting SAP, there are very serious consequences to that. And these requirements are listed in the COMTA SAP guidelines document to help, but also make sure that you see any current Title IV regulations. And again, you can get those from either from your Title IV regional office. The COMTA staff does have a couple recommendations in staying compliant and helping you maintain compliance. Since the regulations do change and since they tend to be relatively complex, particularly for small schools, COMTA staff highly recommends that you use a third-party servicing company which has experience in Title IV regulation. And that person or agency can also be very helpful in giving you this information, clarifying how these regulations apply to your school. And in addition, it is important to have an internal staff person designated as well to maintain a relationship with your Title IV regional office and getting the latest clarifications. We are going to include a website link here for further information. ifap.ed.gov is the direct link to school portal. So this information is for those of you already participating, or if you're interested in learning more to possibly participate and apply for federal funding after accreditation. Thank you very much, and now we will get into the very brief lessons that include this module.